Alright, let's be real for a second. Genshin Impact is not dead. It's still huge, still making insane money, and still pulling in numbers. But it's also kind of stuck, and the timing is awkward, because now we've got games like Wua and Arknight Enfield and Ananta coming up, games that look like Genshin, and go, okay, cool. But what if we fix the annoying parts? And that's the problem. Genshin doesn't need to panic, but it does need to change, or it's slowly going to lose people without even realizing it. First things first, this is not a doom post. If you think Genshin is about to shut down, that's not what this is. The game is doing completely fine financially, but as someone who's been playing it for a while, you can kind of feel it, right? You log in, spend your resin, maybe do events, then you're just like, alright, guess I'm done. That feeling didn't used to be there as much. An issue isn't content, so the course experience of Genshin Impact hasn't evolved. For years, Genshin had zero pressure. If you wanted an anime-style open-world gacha with real production value, that was it. It was Genshin Impact. There were no alternatives. Now, that's not true. We have Lua, focused on more skill-based combat and faster movement. We have Arknights Enfield with the Factory. And then we have Ananta, going after the same audience of Genshin, but just with more modern expectations. These games don't need to be better than Genshin in every way. They just need to be better in the areas where Genshin is weak. And the players will notice these things. They will notice the games that have a skip button and the games that don't have a skip button. Let's talk about the real pain points for a second. Once you hit the late game in Genshin Impact, it's basically just the Spiral Abyss, events, and that's it. Abyss is fine, but it's also been the same thing forever. There's nothing really that pushes you to master your characters, or experiment with teams, or just play for fun without resin. Other games are launching with actual repeatable modes. Genshin still treats endgame like a side feature. And then we have to go on to artifacts. Yeah, we gotta talk about artifacts. The RNG is insane. You can farm for weeks and get nothing usable. No rerolls, no meaningful control, no bad luck protection. At some point, it stops feeling grindy. It just feels disrespectful of your time. And newer games are already improving on this. Genshin does improve, but slowly. Stuff players ask for take years to eventually show up, and it's treated like a massive update when it should have came out years ago. Meanwhile, other devs are actually communicating with their communities and designing systems with more flexibility from the start, and this difference adds up over time. And why hasn't Genshin fixed these things yet? Because, honestly, they don't have to. Genshin still prints money, so there's no emergency. But that's also risky. Games don't usually die because they mess up once. They die because most invested players quietly leave. Not in a rage, not with drama, they just stop logging in. And once that happens, it's really hard to reverse and bring those players back. Here's the thing though, Genshin is not doomed. It still has a massive, beautiful world, good characters, and great music. I don't think any gacha game has ever surpassed Genshin Impact in music, but I know someone in the comments will yell at me for that. Genshin Impact doesn't need to reinvent itself. It just needs to add a real endgame loop and add the things the players have been asking for years. If it does that, it will stay on top easily. And if it doesn't, it will become the game everyone learns from and then surpasses. Genshin has changed the genre, but now the genre is catching up, and whether Genshin stays ahead or falls behind depends directly on whether it's willing to evolve before players move on. But the thing is, I think HoYoverse has it in them. In my opinion, HoYoverse's best game is HSR because of how it respects your time. HSR has so many events and things to do that you can really go and play for hours and not get bored. Now, there are a lot of flaws in HSR. Number one, turn-based. A turn-based game. Who wants to play a turn-based game? But if Genshin Impact can take the good out of HSR and use it to make their game better, I believe HoYoverse can save Genshin Impact from eventually going under the water. So yeah, That's where Genshin Impact stands right now. It's still a huge game with an amazing world, strong characters, and top tier production. But the industry around it is moving fast. Player expectations are higher than ever, and staying successful long term means being willing to evolve, not just rely on what's worked before. Genshin doesn't need to reinvent itself overnight, but meaningful changes are going to matter if it wants to stay on top. Whether that's endgame content, rewards, or quality of life changes, or how it treats its players, something has to give. But that's just my perspective. What do you think Genshin Impact needs to change moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys Starside.